Howl has just released slots, live games, and most importantly, crypto withdrawals. You can now deposit Rustskins and gamble on any slot you want and withdraw your winnings to crypto. They've also added a chat rain where you can claim free money every 30 minutes without having to bet any of your own money. They have a free Rust case you can open daily to win up to $2,000, and for a limited time, you can receive a 48% bonus when depositing with gift cards and crypto. Make sure to use my code 9 for a free 50 cents to gamble with. Check it out using the link in the description. Hello guys, before we get any further into today's video, if you guys are new to my channel, please consider dropping a like and subscribing. It greatly helps everything that I'm doing here. And now at this point, you're most likely wanting to see the cost and the upkeep of the base. So looking at here, it's decently reasonable. It is a little expensive on the metal frags cost, but remember, I always spam garage doors and other deployables. Alright guys, without further ado, let's get into the video. Alrighty guys, starting at any one of our 6 externals, you're going to see the upkeep. There are 3 externals of this upkeep, decently cheap. They're just going to be holding up wide gaps in this little compound peak that has bedrooms. Coming over to this guy. This is our other external. This one will be a little more as we're using some battlement type walls under the wide gaps. Jumping into the base now, we obviously have a very basic gatehouse. Just some simple peaks into compound, nothing crazy. And it has a turret overlooking the top. 3 turrets hold this entire compound. As you guys can see, every corner there's a turret. Okay, as you see looking towards the base, we have a ton of wide gap and light peaks. We have these little low wall peaks as well that give some beautiful angles and also act as another layer of protection to the base. So looking at that now, we'll jump up over here. You can see this is pretty unique and a kind of cool concept. But first, we're going to jump over here and look at our little bedroom modules. 2 beds, 2 small boxes, you can even fit a locker in here. These are the basic version of the peaks. I'll be showing a different version of these peaks later in the build if you'd like to see them. But just something simple and give us some peak sets of the compound and obviously 2 small points in compound. Lots of room for furnaces throughout this entire area. As you can see, I can't just fit one in the middle, but you could easily fit 2 in there if you try. Jumping into the main part of the base now, you'll see here using this wide gap section to give us a way through. It expands our door path just ever so slightly. And jumping up right to the 2nd floor. This 2nd floor is extra loot space. It's more of a separation floor between this and the open core. And it's also our entrance to starter, which I'll show you now. Starter has a good amount of storage, just utility space, just something meant to be cheap to build and, well, a little bit of an expensive raid. And as you can tell, it's going to be 2 walls from this back side here. So closing that up now and looking at TC upkeep. You'll easily fit a day on this guy, no problems. Kept jumping up to the next level. We can go to our open core. Jumping into this guy, it's pretty unique as in a few aspects. It's a basic eggshell open core, but instead of using the normal loot rooms, which would be the loot space below and all that fun stuff, we're using reversed ramps like this to create honeycomb. So as you guys can kind of see here, no matter what, even if they blow this back wall, they're gonna have to break these ramps and spend another 8 rockets to get through this section. So I'll show you what this looks like right now from the outside. So from here, even if they break into here, they will have to go through this ramp. So just something to note. And then also, as a lot of my bases have, they have ramp peak turrets. 2 turrets look into each section like this. So as you can see here, 1 turret looks here, 1 turret looks here. It's obviously going to be very difficult for people to get control of this open core. And that's on every ramp. You have enough room for bags, furnaces, more boxes below here, tier 3, the whole shebang. You get a lot of space. Jumping up to this next level, I'm going to show you what these little low wall peaks are. This gives us a beautiful peek onto our main gatehouse. It also nice peeks into compound that block sight from raid base. It's also just 2 sections here, and you can see that we're kind of using this wide gap as rotation up. Going up to the next level, you can see these are where our turrets are. They are housed on the wide gap sections to make it so we can kind of cheap out this base a little more than it is. And obviously, got some nice little peaks here, some little crouch peaks. I like still basic peaks like this, as I prefer the angles of side pieces like this. And obviously your wide gaps give you a full 360 on everything compound. If these turrets are placed right, you can still run straight through with no issues, just like this. And as you can tell, it's very nice. Same more peaks here, more of these low wall peaks that I'm really liking right now. Yet another beautiful angle onto our gatehouse there. And more crouch-like peaks looking at your externals and all of that. Jumping up to a roof. We have a simple bedroom under this guy. Just like always, with turrets above them. And this is where our roof pickup was from that section below, or before rather, down here. And it's obviously a full 360. Alright, without further ado, let's actually get into the build of the base. Alrighty guys, before we actually get started with the build, I'm going to be showing off the footprint as always. So simply put here, this is where our TC is. This is our obviously entire starter unit like this. These triangles will be our jump up to that second floor and higher. Our wide gaps being pretty simple on these sides, and our externals. So without further ado, I'm going to wipe the island and we're actually going to get to it. So just be aware, I will be using some build grade mechanics and stuff like that to speed up this build, as I don't want a super long video. But to start off pretty simply, if you just need to get your TC down, simply wall in a TC like such and door it off. That is all you need for your first starter unit, just to store some items and be good. But obviously right away, we're going to want to keep expanding. So going off of the square, triangle, another square, we can wall this entire section in. 2 doors goes here, and I like to put a shelf in here. You can ramp this if you want, however, it doesn't really matter. And if you have the resources at any point, remember upgrading those roofs are very important and helpful. Double door on this guy, no need for that. This is where I like to fit my tier 1 and tier 2, obviously switch it out as time persists and goes on. And the starter bags. Now this base is only built for about 6 players and up, however you can fit more in if your group decides to do so. Placing these ramps like so, and boxes. Jumping out of here now, we are going to come and start with a square, 2 triangle to one side, this will be a loot room, and then continuing this way, like such, this will be our jump to the next level. Coming into here, placing our 4 boxes, and I'm going to try and not do too much deployable placement, only the starter unit I will really be doing this kind of stuff. If you have garage doors, switch out. I usually like to do 2 double doors here and then a garage door in this path from now on, as it just makes the most sense. Like such. And remember, at any early game opportunity, if you can, remove this double door, upgrade this foundation to whatever grade you can, and sheet metal this compartment off. And if you have it, armor door goes here, sheet metaling that like such. Eventually we'll armor this compartment, but for now, it's all good. Coming to the outside of the base now, we need to fill in a few gaps. So right here, I like to fill this guy in. This is just going to be extra honeycomb for TC, so if they miss the proper side, they're going to hit this side, and it's going to become more expensive. Now coming over to here, this is where our double doors would lead to, and we are going to wall this in like so. Now removing this double door like so, we can build the top portion, which is just a simple jump up. This is a great spot if you have shotgun traps to put them here. And also, furnaces down here is a great idea. We'll remove this guy for now and jump back up here. Double door for now, as you probably don't have garage doors and you don't want to remove any security. Your 2 double doors can be moved like such, creating a nice little airlock. Coming to every side now, what we're going to do is we're going to place a double door frame off the square on every side like such, and walling in the other sections. Now, I like to do this section or this floor with 2 just windowed loot rooms to kind of partition everything off, but you could honestly leave it open. You could just put deployables here. It's all personal preference what you need. You can just spam boxes in a different way, leaving it open. It's personal preference, like I said. But for the way we will be doing it, just every section from one of these entrances to the left will be a loot room or your way in. So left, good, left, good. Upgrading these top parts are also very important. And then we'll be doing it how I do it, which is just filling in this guy, put your boxes in there. Put your boxes in there. And pretty good. So I like to now double door these guys off if you need to. It's always suggested, just to have a little more defendability. You can put some double door frames in here, and you're good. So coming outside now, you'll see that we have no jump up to this area, which is obviously very important. So I'm going to toggle symmetry on now, just so we can do everything on all 3 sides. So simply place 1 triangle like such, your window, And this can either be a single door if you plan on getting more armored doors. However, if you do not plan on getting tons of single doors and armored doors, because most people will get them, you can just use a double door like I will here. We can switch that to a garage door later. Now building this one higher, and what I like to do is grab a half wall at a twig, place this little guy in here, just to get this half height jump up in there. That will go to the next level. So jumping down here, windowing this off. You can obviously use a ladder hatch if you prefer that, but for now, a furnace will work just fine. There's many other deployables you can use for this as well. Okay, coming to the outside now, we're gonna be placing squares off of these foundations like so. And we're now going to honeycomb this 2 floors up. And in all reality, this base, just remember, is meant for online raiding, online defense. So its offline capabilities are decent, but they're not crazy, just so you guys are aware. Coming over to here, as you can see, it's mirrored on every side, pretty simple. We'll keep building up this guy. So this next guy, we're gonna wanna build 1 floor higher, pretty simple. Removing this double door from down here and placing it like such is awesome. Garage door in this section. We have the sheet metal this section like this, just to make it a little more expensive of a raid. Shotgun traps go here and are beautiful to have there. Coming up to this next section, this is where stuff gets a little weirder than my usual base builds. So what we're gonna do is on all these squares, we're gonna be building 2 high. And as you can see, symmetry has made it so all these sides have worked. Okay. Now usually we do half walls with ramps in here, but instead we're gonna be rotating the ramps like such. Now placing floors on top and wall frames on top of those. Excuse me. Now what I would like to do is put another little frame in here, a low wall. This is where those boxes go. Excuse me, apologies. Putting our half wall and such like this. Now we're close to capping the entire thing off, but not yet. So we want to put a wall in this section right here. Now coming up top, obviously you would have to do a build up to get up here, but I'll place a square, triangles like such, excuse me, and 4 frames here. Now before you put the ramps here, don't put these down yet. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. Grab twig and place shelves in these units like so. Excuse me, placing it like that. Now place ramps rotated towards you like this. Make sure this is done like this. This is very important. And I suggest upgrading these guys to sheet metal as soon as humanly possible. Same with this guy, like so. And if you can, these guys as well, extraordinarily important. Now before you place boxes, you need to come up to this top section and place these ramps. So it should look like this. As you can see on all sides, I don't know what happened over here. We'll fix this guy up. But as you can see, it's like so. And obviously if you have the resources, sheet metal your roofs as the first thing just to prevent top downs, all that stuff, even though they're not as common nowadays. Better be safe than sorry. Personally, just so you guys know, if these were to be stone like this, you will not be able to place a garage door in here. So what you want to do is either place a garage door first, or simply upgrade these guys to sheet metal, then place your garage doors. Like so. Now this is kind of important, so I'll do this now. Place your boxes as close as you can to yourself, like this. You want to bring them as close to you on the ramp as possible. Now jumping using a twig build-up, you're gonna do the same thing. The angle's a little weird on this one, but it will still work just fine. Still pretty easy. Oop. Apologies there. And as you can see, all these boxes are pretty easy to access. There's no real issues with all that, which is just awesome. Key wall to upgrade in all this size is this one, by the way. And switching this guy to a garage door. And I'm building it 1 higher before we need to go build our wide gaps. So switching this guy to stone, I like to put a shelf in on this guy. Now I showed one variant of this guy before that required 2 garage doors, 1 on each of these sections. But personally, you could even put a single door frame here and use this as a peek up, like so. And then putting 2 guys like this. This is what I personally like to do. If you have a garage door, put it there, but for now, this will be fine. There's 2 different variants of this. Always good to have other versions of the base. Okay, now we need to come off and do our wide gaps. So pretty simply put, off of this guy right here, at a twig, we're gonna build 1, 2, 3 triangles, breaking the first 2. 3 squares. And now coming back with triangles. As you can see here, it's pretty simple, but this will be our build back like such. To complete the footprint, we're going to be placing squares like this, but for now it doesn't really matter. So upgrading this to its final form just to show you what it's going to look like. These three guys are going to be sheet metal. Same with this guy, this guy, this guy, and this guy. These don't matter, they can be stone. Truthfully, there's no real difference. These guys right here, we're going to want to upgrade these guys to wood just to keep this connection here good, where we don't have to place frames on top like this. And now obviously, building our gatehouse. Glass windows on these guys. I personally sometimes don't even add embrasures, but just for the looks, why not? And double doors on these guys. Obviously we haven't placed our compound, but you get the point, we'll be good. Coming over here, we're going to build our external disconnectable. Like such, this is the way I personally like to do it. Make sure to place these two as half walls. And coming in like this. I know I get questions every once in a while, why do you only use 2 garage doors? And the reason is most raiders still won't raid it even if it's 2 garage doors. You can even bait them out and put like a garage door and then a single door or like a double door. Most people see a garage door in your external or multiple like this case and they just turn it away. Just a good kind of reverse psychology that I use on people. And I've never really had issues in the past. However, if you do, you can obviously add another single door or double door on that to increase the raid cost to an accurate A-rocket. Cat coming over to this guy, removing this. We will make our turret pod above here. I personally like to sheet metal this guy like this so it can't be soft side from below if they get into that section as easily, at least. Okay, now that's only 3 of the externals. We gotta do the other 3. So coming over this side, yeah, again with twig, triangle, 1, 2, 3. I believe it's 4 on this guy. Might be wrong here, but it's okay. Show you how to fix it, worst case. And coming back all the way like this. Nope, it was 4. Coming back with 4 triangles, a square, and 2 more triangles. 1 more square off this guy. And it's the same build out as last time, as it's just a circle like this. Showing what the upgraded form looks like, I like to personally sheet metal all 3 of these guys, and this guy, and then these 3 guys. And these 2 can be stone. Now to make the peaks that I want, I'm going to put 2 half walls like this, full wall like this, and that like so. If you have a locker, this needs to be placed before these ramp tiles come in here. So place your locker like so, build yourself up to here, and jump and place these roof triangles. As you can see, this locker is still accessible through here. Very cool concept. Placing those embrasures like so, we'll continue making this little section. 2 windows, personally like to just leave these as glass. There's no reason to really make those any more. And sectioning this off like so. Now before we place the beds and all this stuff in here, I'm going to quickly jump outside and make the external. So same build out as before. Exact same everything, for that matter. Now remember, you gotta do this on every side. Make sure to place your TCs, don't forget any of that stuff, and make sure to connect everything to base as shown here. If you miss something or mess something up, join my Discord, ping me, and I can help with whatever you need. Just leave a screenshot and I can help with whatever. 2 garage doors on this guy, and we're all good. Now time to place the compound. Now, something that you may not know about compounds is the easiest way I found to do this guy is placing it straight off of here. Look to your left. I usually alt-look to get this. Place this guy straight off. I'll do this while not flying to show a more accurate angle. Look to the left. That looks like it's accurate. And like so. Now remember, you may not always get the most perfect compound. It's okay to mess up a little bit, but in the worst case, just practice this on a build server so you can figure out the perfect angle. So like this, me moving it back a little bit, I think I get a better angle here, as I like that more so it doesn't clip into there. Same with this guy, backing this guy up just a hair to give me a slightly better angle. That looks good. Coming up onto here, placing 2 triangles like such. These are just placeholders to place these barricades. Obviously I'm flying, but you can place stuff like here to get yourself the build out. If you need an extra turret location, by the way, you can put these 3 like here and put a turret under here. Always a good spot. Jumping over to here. Same guy, same concept, same everything. And we are good. Coming into here, showing how to place these beds. Very, very simple. Just like so. And small boxes fit very easily. Now, I did mention before we start working on the base again, if you want a better version of this peak, I forget the exact name of the peak, so I do apologize, but adding floor triangles like such, like this, it will actually give you much better peaks. It basically turns this right here into a head glitch where they can't really see the angle of the head. So if you want the advanced version, here it is. Just add those to your peaks. It does not block line of sights. It's still very good, as you can kind of see here. Just thought I'd throw that in there for people that are interested. Okay. Jumping over to this guy, we're going to upgrade this like so. So, 2 frames like this, 2 walls high on both these guys, 2 half walls followed by a low wall. Now what we're going to want to do is grab sheet metal and build these guys right here, this high. Floor frames in here, followed by 2 more half walls like so, and 2 more low walls. Oops, apologies. Finishing this guy off like so, you're good. Now building this guy up in stone, as it doesn't really matter. Eventually with a half wall and a window. Sealing these guys off like so. This guy is ready to go. Now, apologies. Placing this out of stone, building this guy up like such. We are good. Let's get working on our next little section before finishing this guy off. But for now, this is the module you want to use. And like before, showing off this little angle here is just kind of beautiful. And if you have a garage door now, very keen on switching this guy out here. And getting yourself that jump up to the next level using the double doors. Like such. Okay, coming through and onto here, we're going to be building these guys up right here. 4 high. And this guy, same kind of concept with the other side. We're using half wall like such. Now don't forget to build up off of these guys right here. You want to build 4 high on these guys on each side. And another thing that I do suggest is add a sheet metal right here, adding this for stability like such. Now, something that is now going to be a little confusing on this section of the build rather, is after here I add some embrasures just to make sure we're all good. This right here is where our auto turret's going to go. So right in this kind of like floating area. So you don't want to place it like this, even though this technically would be the quote unquote best spot for it. It actually hurts it because the stability on this would be 20%, which just isn't the best because they're more likely going to be breaking these walls than anything else. So placing it off of this guy like so, it's going to be a lower percent stability. Yes, that's accurate. However, it's actually just going to give a better angle as we're able to back it up a little bit like so. Placing frames and doors in like this, you'll be able to then place double doors like such. That will block that side piece angle that it could have got shot from. And if you place it right, obviously I placed mine a little bit too forward or a little bit to the right, you'll easily still be able to walk through. And if not, it's still not the worst jump around. So obviously it does have a little issue, so I apologize about that. So same guy like so, coming over to here. And you can experiment obviously with different variations like there, boom, got the actually right one, first try there. But it's all just how it works. Half wall on this guy, up to here. And you can either, I would like to frame these guys like this instead of how I just did it. Perfect. And then those double doors that you've most likely been saving in your boxes because you've been using them throughout the entire thing, go there. Come to the outside of the base. Frame like so. I like to put a frame in here just to make the angle a little tighter, personally. And leaving it stone actually gives it a little better angle compared to sheet metal. Coming over to this guy, frames on these guys, working on sealing off the entirety of the shooting floor. This entire section right here is going to turn into our battery and our bedroom section. You can actually fit more beds than what I showed in the tour, but I just kind of did the lazy variant as it doesn't really matter too much. It won't affect too much. So I like to put my bedroom doors like this, along in these 3 sections like so. If you have, rotate this wall, sheet metaling it, sheet metaling this entire section, and grabbing our batteries. Beds can go any way, but garage dooring this guy off is in your best interests. You can even fit, I believe you can almost fit 3 bedrooms. I believe you can't. Apologies. Double door frame here. You can double door. I would suggest. It's never bad to be too safe, especially if you're saving these guys. And if you want to, you should be able to. I reckon. We'll let you move this guy like this. Put a frame like this, or your bed like this. Switch in the respawn like so. You can even fit into a double bedroom there. Okay. Continuing on building the shooting floor. We will keep adding the angles that are necessary. So I like to use a glass window on this guy, followed by glass windows on these 2 guys, along with your normal embrasures. Half wall on this guy, roof triangles, and this will be our bedroom here. We'll double door this guy off, removing this double door down here. That was our previous roof jump up, and now make this guy. And I like glass windows here just so I can kind of see what's going on outside. Just so you note, this little section right here, I'm not using in this, but you can easily put a locker in here or another battery in here. It's all personal preference. But just know that space is there and can be used from one of these bedrooms. Okay, like so. Sealing off these guys how they properly should be. Same kind of thing all the way around. Did not mean to do that. We can now come around with roof triangles in every section. So we're gonna wanna place roof triangles, not like this because I'm flying, but you come up here, you can place a roof triangle like so. Coming over to this guy, you can place a floor right here to then place these roof triangles easier. And then this guy from here. And same thing for this guy, jumping up to here is the easiest way to place it. Now, something that I haven't shown is windmill placement. There's a lot of spaces for them, but my personal favorites are either at these corners off these guys, or you could simply put them off of like right here. So 1, 2, 3, and you can double up the stability if you so desire, like so. Ooh, that's really low. Peculiar. You can either add more stability like this. This should allow it to work like so. But what we'll actually do is we'll experiment for a second here and see if this would just work better. If I can build this like 2 high, even 1 high would be good. It's a very tall base. Remember that this is a very tall base. So stability on a lot of this stuff is actually really, really good. Because as you can see here, in 4 or 5, call it 7 stories this is up, that's good enough for windmill height. You don't have to worry too much. And a personal thing I like to do is you can even turn this into a little like skybox bedroom. You can just put frames like this. Always another good spot. It even creates a little turret angle down here for you. Okay, jumping back down here and into open core. We're going to continue with placements. These middle frames don't require garage doors or anything of the sort, so don't feel pressured to just spam garage doors there unless you really want to. There's no real purpose of them. It doesn't really matter. I personally like to spam some furnaces in here, in this section. If you need extra bag space, you can fit a ton of bags just in this section here alone, plus this section here. It's enough team bags, I would presume. Tier 3 workbench, I like to place just like this. And fit your little small box underneath that. And sheet metal in this section is actually kind of important so your tier 3 doesn't collapse and crumble. Always kind of a good thing to do. And also I'll show off this little peak that was there before. So it allows you to, if that garage door is closed, jump up to this little section, if I can make the jump here, and have a peek up to this room without having to just open the garage door and blatantly give away your angle. That's the reason we gave that one to you. And it's different from the build for fun. This little section here now, we should HQM all of these roof tiles that are visible this way. Coming down into this core, whatever you can upgrade is good to go. If you could get the sheet metal wall, you have to remove these boxes sometimes, but you can grab it that way. If you can, HQM this guy, this guy, this guy, like so. This guy should all be HQM. Why not? Sheet metaling anything and everything that is possibly visible. I know some of the stuff you would have had to do beforehand, but I'm just showing, usually you should be upgrading before you honeycomb anyways, but that's how it works. Coming up into this section, garage storing this entire path off, just so you have a door path on this. Make sure to add shotgun traps so it doesn't cheap out the entire thing. You can add all of your walls sheet metal. Obviously, pretend that there are boxes in here. I'm not going to bore you with this kind of placement. It's just a waste of time. So, okay, coming down to here, making sure everything is good. More room for deployables throughout here. Whatever you need to add. You might notice the stone cost is actually higher in this version is because I haven't sheet metal everything in this guy. So I'm going to show you the last and final upgrades of this entire base. So coming outside, the square honeycomb that has the open core limit rooms, you need to upgrade this section like so. As long as you do this in your wipe, having those guys upgraded like such, the open core is expensive to reach. However, if you don't, it might cause some problems later with replacing things and all that fun stuff. So if you just do it like that, you'll be good. Coming over to this guy, I'm gonna re-show because I didn't have symmetry on. So these walls are the important walls. If you can't get the entire square upgraded, this at least will guarantee a more expensive rate. However, if you do have the resources, upgrade the entire square. And remember, this base is made for onlines, not offlines, so it's not going to be the strongest thing. However, I will show in a minute here where you can add bunkers to actually increase that offline raid defense capability. Oh, and forgot to mention furnace placement. Very easy and simple, but if done right, you can fit 2 furnaces like so in every section like this. But if you just want lots of rotational area, I like just placing them like this off of each guy. Just so there's tons of space to replace compound and it doesn't block too many angles. Okay, now talking about the upgrades, if you have the HQM this top section, sheet metaling this tunnel up is very, very nice. And bunkers are the last thing to really talk about. So now I'll show you the vending machine bunkers that I typically use. However, you can bunker yourself many other ways. So this is where I personally like to add them. Either I like to add one here. Now this placement is a little hard, I will admit. You have to do it while kind of falling, which is not ideal. But if you can get it, you should be able to place it here. But if not in this placement, like right now it is for me, too hard, come over to here and place this guy just like so. Now with any twig triangle, you can come here and open this guy. Make sure to turn off broadcasting and all that, or just use this as a shop. There's no reason not to. So this right here is where all of our offline protection is coming from. If you really want to make it an expensive raid, literally just HQ on this guy. It's either 8 rockets to despawn the loot or 15.8 to get the loot. And that deters a lot of raiders. Seeing this on your roof, raiders are gonna think twice. But if you're still looking for more offline protection and this isn't enough for you because you think you angered a group, you know what happens. If you angered a group and you know you need the extra offline protection, I suggest coming into compound at this exact section right here, sheet metaling or HQMing this section, placing a sheet metal wall like so, pretty typical at this point with me, and putting vending machine bunkers here as well. This you can do on every side, like so. So that's 3 more vending machine bunkers that are optional. If you want to even just deter an offline, and there's a builder on the other group and you kind of know they have a good base, if you just place these in compound, even if you don't fill them, you can deter offlines very easily because they just know they can't raid you. They know it's too expensive and they just won't put the time to. Same thing, you can add more bunkers here, all personal preference at this point. Okay, that about does it for the entirety of the build. Hopefully I didn't miss anything. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please join my Discord. Link is in the description. And I hope you had an amazing day. I love you all. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you later.